First contact and fall. The alert klaxons aboard the TSS Horizon cut through Captain Sarah Chen's meditation like a knife. Her quarters' ambient lighting shifted from calm blue to urgent red as her ship's AI delivered the news she'd dreaded since taking command of Earth's most advanced deep space vessel. Multiple unknown contacts detected, Captain. Energy signatures exceed anything in our database. The AI's voice remained steady, but Sarah detected an undercurrent of concern in its carefully modulated tones. They're on an intercept course. Sarah was already moving, muscle memory from countless drills guiding her hands as she secured her shoulder-length black hair and donned her uniform jacket. Time to intercept. 17 minutes, Captain. The objects are accelerating at rates that violate our understanding of inertial dampening. She stepped into the corridor, crew members rushing past with practiced efficiency. This far from Earth, in the unexplored regions beyond Proxima Centauri, humanity's first contact with alien life had always been a possibility. But as Sarah entered the bridge and saw the tactical display, her heart sank. This wasn't first contact. It was an invasion force. Status report, she commanded, sliding into her chair as her bridge crew worked their stations with focused intensity. Lieutenant Commander David Rivera, her tactical officer, spoke without looking up from his console. 5 capital ships, Captain, each roughly 3 times our mass. Energy readings suggest weapon systems we can't even begin to classify. They're broadcasting something. A sound filled the bridge, a harsh metallic screech that made Sarah's teeth ache. As suddenly as it began, it stopped, replaced by words that seemed to bypass their ears and materialize directly in their minds. We are the Nexus Collective. Your species has been evaluated and found wanting. Surrender your vessel for analysis or be destroyed. Sarah's fingers tightened on her armrests. The Horizon was humanity's pride, the culmination of a century of technological advancement. Its quantum engines and gravitational weaponry were supposed to be unmatched. But the sensor readings told a different story. They were hopelessly outgunned. Open a channel, she ordered, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her stomach. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Horizon. We are on a peaceful exploration mission and... The ship rocked violently, throwing crew members from their stations. Warning indicators flashed across every screen as systems began failing faster than the AI could report them. Direct hit to our quantum core, Rivera shouted over the chaos. They didn't even give us a chance to finish. Sarah's mind raced. The Horizon couldn't win this fight, but maybe it could accomplish something more important. All hands, abandon ship. Take every scrap of data we have. Humanity needs to know what's coming. As her crew rushed to the escape pods, Sarah initiated the ship's final protocol. The Horizon's quantum core would overload, creating a temporary quantum singularity. It wouldn't destroy the alien ships, but it would buy the escape pods time and deny the enemy access to Earth's most advanced technology. Captain, you need to go, Rivera insisted, trying to pull her from her chair. Someone has to make sure this works, she replied, eyes fixed on the countdown. Get to your pod, Commander. That's an order. The escape pods launched just as the alien vessels opened fire again. Sarah watched them disappear into FTL jumps, carrying their crucial warning back to Earth. The alien ships loomed closer on her view screen, their angular forms blocking out the stars. Quantum core critical, the AI announced. Containment failure in 10 seconds. Sarah closed her eyes, thinking of Earth, of everything and everyone she was protecting. Let's show them humanity doesn't go quietly. The Horizon's quantum core breached, creating a miniature black hole that lasted less than a second. But in that moment, as space itself twisted and warped, Sarah Chen's final act of defiance wrote humanity's name in the stars. The escape pod's warning reached Earth 3 days later. The Nexus Collective's invasion began within a week, and humanity learned a harsh truth. They weren't ready for the galaxy's ruthless reality. But deep beneath the surface of Mars, In a forgotten facility that predated the first moon landing, something stirred. Humanity had prepared for this day, whether they knew it or not, and the price of survival would be higher than anyone could imagine. Project Legacy. Dr. Maya Patel had spent her entire career believing in science, in the orderly progression of human knowledge. But as she stood in the dusty chamber beneath the Martian surface, staring at technology that shouldn't exist, those beliefs began to crumble. "This facility predates the first Mars colony by at least 50 years, she muttered, running her hand over a console that hummed to life at her touch. "How is that possible?" The holographic display that materialized showed Earth as it had appeared in 1969, the same year humans first walked on the moon. But the language scrolling across the screen wasn't English, Russian, or any other human tongue. It was something else entirely. Dr. Patel, her assistant, Tom Chen, called from deeper in the facility. "You need to see this." She found him in what appeared to be a hangar, though it dwarfed any spacecraft construction bay she'd ever seen. The ceiling stretched at least half a kilometer up, disappearing into darkness. But it was the object suspended in the center of the chamber that made her breath catch. A ship hung in massive gravitational cradles, its hull gleaming despite decades of dormancy. Its design was unlike anything humanity had produced, organic curves blended with geometric precision, suggesting capabilities that defied current physics. "It's beautiful," Tom whispered, his drone scanners working overtime to catalog the vessel. "But who built it? And why here?" Maya's tablet chimed with an incoming transmission from Earth Defense Command. The Nexus Collective had breached the outer solar system's defensive line. Humanity's most advanced ships were falling by the dozens. "Security protocols disengage," a synthetic voice announced, making them both jump. "Project Legacy archives accessible. Welcome, Dr. Maya Patel. Your genetic profile matches authorized personnel." Holographic screens materialized around them, showing footage that made Maya's blood run cold. She watched as humans in 1960s-era clothing worked alongside beings that couldn't be from Earth, constructing the very ship that hung before them. "In 1947, we made contact," the synthetic voice continued. "Not the violent encounter at Roswell that entered public mythology, but a genuine exchange. They called themselves the predecessors, and they came with a warning." Maya watched as the footage showed star systems falling to massive fleet actions, worlds burning under energy weapons that twisted the fabric of space itself. The Nexus Collective was young then, but growing. The predecessors had fought them for millennia, seeing countless civilizations fall. They chose Earth not for our technology, but for our potential, our adaptability, our determination. Tom stepped closer to the ship, his scanner revealing layers of technology that shouldn't be possible. "They helped us build this." "Not exactly," Maya replied, reading through the scrolling data. "They gave us the fundamental principles, but insisted we develop the technology ourselves. They believe that gifted knowledge leads to stagnation. Only earned understanding brings true advancement." The facility's AI continued its revelation. Project Legacy was established to develop weapons and defenses beyond anything humanity could achieve alone. But the price was high. The power source alone required understanding of physics that drove some researchers mad. Many of the original scientists died during testing, their minds unable to cope with what they'd created. Maya accessed more recent files, dated just before the facility was sealed. "They shut it down," she whispered. "Not because it failed, but because it worked too well." The project leaders realized humanity wasn't ready for this level of power. "But we need it now," Tom argued, gesturing at his tablet showing the latest casualty reports. "The collective is tearing through our defenses like they're not even there." Maya's fingers flew across the holographic interface, absorbing decades of classified research. The ship before them, designated Prometheus, was just the tip of the iceberg. Project Legacy had developed weapons that could alter reality itself, defenses that bent probability, and drives that slipped between the moments of time. The predecessors were right about one thing: she said, initiating the facility's revival sequence. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to face the impossible and refuse to back down. Warning klaxons blared through the facility. Attention. Project Legacy reactivation requires command authorization. The consequences of deploying this technology cannot be undone. Maya thought of the billions of lives depending on them, of Captain Chen and countless others who had already died buying Earth time. She pressed her palm against the authorization scanner. Better to face the consequences than face extinction, she declared. Activate Project Legacy. All of it. The ship above them began to pulse with deep blue light, its systems awakening after decades of slumber. Throughout the facility, other weapons and devices hummed to life, each one representing a piece of humanity's secret heritage. The Nexus Collective thinks they're facing a primitive species, Tom said, watching as the ship's cradles began to move. They have no idea what we're capable of. Maya nodded, but her expression was grim. That's true, but neither do we. And that's what terrifies me. As Prometheus prepared for launch, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was about to cross a line. The question wasn't whether they could use this power, but whether they could control it. The war for survival was about to enter a new phase, and the galaxy would never be the same. The rising storm. Admiral Marcus Way stood at the viewport of Earth's last orbital command station, watching as the remnants of humanity's fleet regrouped. The Nexus Collective's advance had slowed, but not because of resistance. They were taking their time, methodically destroying every human outpost and colony they encountered. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving a priority transmission from Mars. Dr. Patil is requesting immediate clearance for Project Legacy." Way's hand tightened on his tablet. He'd heard whispers about Legacy throughout his career, a black project so classified that most believed it was just a myth. Put her through. Maya's hologram appeared on the bridge, her expression intense. Behind her, Y could see some kind of massive hangar facility. "Admiral, we found something. A weapon system developed in secret decades ago, with help from an advanced alien species. Dr. Patel, if this is some kind of..." "The predecessors," she interrupted. "They warned us about the collective in 1947. Everything since then, our rapid technological advancement, the space race, the quantum revolution, it was all guided. We were being prepared." Way's tactical display updated with new data. The collective's main fleet had entered the inner solar system. Nearly 300 ships, each one carrying enough firepower to level a continent. "How long until your weapon is ready?" he asked, already calculating strategies. "Prometheus will launch in 6 hours. But sir," Maya hesitated, "there's something you need to understand. The technology we're activating, it doesn't just bend the rules of physics, it breaks them. The potential for collateral damage is..." "Doctor," Way cut in, his voice firm but gentle, "the collective has destroyed every human world they've encountered. Earth is all we have left. Whatever the risks, we're past the point of holding back." A new alarm blared through the command station. Way's tactical officer, Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, called out, "Sir, multiple collective ships have broken formation. They're accelerating toward Mars." Maya's hologram flickered as she turned to speak to someone off-screen. "They must have detected the power signature from our startup sequence. Tom, begin emergency launch procedures." "You'll never get it ready in time," Way said, watching the enemy ship's approach vectors. "We'll try to buy you." "Sir," Martinez interrupted. "New contacts appearing. Dozens of them, just beyond lunar orbit." Way's display lit up with fresh signatures. A massive fleet had emerged from what looked like tears in space itself. Ships of a design he'd never seen before, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly light. Maya's voice was filled with awe. "The predecessors. They came back." The mysterious fleet moved with impossible grace, their weapons reaching out to swat collective ships from space with contemptuous ease. But they weren't attacking all of the enemy vessels. Instead, they were creating a corridor, a path straight to Earth. A new voice filled the command channel, ancient and powerful. We have fulfilled our promise to maintain the quarantine until humanity was ready. The rest is up to you. Quarantine? Wei asked, but Maya was already nodding. Of course, she breathed. They didn't just help us develop weapons. They were protecting us, keeping the collective away until we could handle the truth, until we were ready to join the wider galaxy. The predecessor fleet engaged the bulk of the collective's forces, drawing them away from Mars. Wei watched in amazement as ships battled with weapons that defied comprehension, space itself twisting and warping around them. Prometheus launch sequence completed, Maya reported. We're bringing the primary systems online now. Admiral, once we activate the legacy weapons, there's no going back. The power we're about to unleash, it will change everything. Wei looked at the tactical display, at the billions of lives depending on their next move. The predecessors were buying them time, but ultimately, humanity's fate would rest in their own hands. The collective thought they were punishing an upstart species, he said. Instead, they forced us to grow up, to face our destiny. He straightened his uniform. Dr. Patel, you have authorization to deploy Project Legacy. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. Maya's hologram nodded grimly. Initiating final launch sequence. Prometheus primary drive engaging in 3, 2, 1. The massive ship rose from its Martian berth, its hull thrumming with energies that made reality itself shudder. As it accelerated toward the battle, Wei couldn't help but wonder. Had the predecessors chosen humanity because of their potential, or because they were the only species stubborn enough to use weapons that defied the laws of physics themselves? He was about to find out. The final battle for Earth was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. Breaking point. Prometheus moved through space like a predator awakening from ancient slumber. Maya watched from the ship's quantum-linked bridge as reality rippled around them, the vessel's impossible drives tearing holes in conventional physics. Primary weapons systems online. Tom reported from his station, his voice tight with tension. Power readings are... I don't even have words for these numbers. The massive ship's AI interface, a legacy of both human and predecessor engineering, spoke with calm certainty. Warning: deployment of primary weapons system will cause irreversible changes to local space-time fabric. Recommended safe distance from Earth is not achievable within current tactical situation. Through the view screens, Maya could see the battle raging across the solar system. The predecessor fleet fought with elegant precision, their advanced ships dancing through void to engage the collective. But they were outnumbered, and more enemy ships arrived with each passing moment. Status of the legacy weapon? She asked, watching as a collective battleship unleashed a barrage that atomized 3 human destroyers. Gravitational focusing arrays are charged, Tom responded. But Dr. Patel, these readings suggest we're not just bending space. We're going to break it. Maya's hands tightened on her command chair. The classified files had been clear about the weapon's capabilities. It didn't just destroy its targets, it rewrote the fundamental laws of physics within its area of effect. The damage would be permanent, creating regions of space where reality itself behaved differently. Multiple collective capital ships on approach, the AI announced. They are attempting to establish a targeting lock. Admiral Wei's voice crackled through the command channel. Doctor, we're losing ground. The predecessors can't hold them much longer. Whatever you're going to do. His transmission cut off as a massive blast rocked Earth's orbital defense platforms. Maya watched in horror as 3 of the stations went dark. Thousands of lives snuffed out in an instant. They're targeting population centers, Tom reported, his screen filling with warning indicators. Planetary bombardment beginning in 3 minutes. Maya closed her eyes, remembering the Project Legacy archives. The original scientists had sealed these weapons away, not because they didn't work, but because they worked too well. They had glimpsed a power that no species should wield. But they didn't have a choice anymore. "Begin primary weapon sequence," she ordered. "Target the largest concentration of collective ships." The AI's voice carried a note of what almost sounded like concern. "Acknowledged. Be advised. Theoretical models suggest deployment will create a cascade effect. The laws of physics within the target area will become unstable. Collective ships entering optimal firing range," Tom announced. 30 seconds to planetary bombardment. Maya took a deep breath. "Execute firing sequence." Prometheus shuddered as its legacy weapon activated. Reality itself seemed to scream as the ship channeled energies that should not exist. A beam of pure impossibility lanced out from the ancient vessel, cutting through space toward the collective fleet. The effect was beyond horrifying. Where the beam touched, space itself began to unravel. Collective ships didn't explode. They simply ceased to exist as the laws of physics that governed their existence were rewritten. Matter, energy, even time itself became fluid, uncertain things within the weapon's area of effect. "My God," Tom whispered, watching as nearly 40 enemy capital ships vanished into a maelstrom of broken reality. "The distortion is spreading. We can't control it." The AI's warnings blared through the bridge. Spatial anomaly expanding beyond predicted parameters, detecting fundamental changes to quantum field structure. Maya stared at the swirling chaos their weapon had created, a hole in reality itself, spreading like a cancer through space. The remaining collective ships tried to flee, but their engines couldn't generate enough power to escape the anomaly's pull. "All human and predecessor vessels," she broadcast on all frequencies, "fall back to minimum safe distance. The reaction is becoming self-sustaining." Through the quantum link, she felt Prometheus's systems straining to contain the energies they'd unleashed. The ship had been designed to wield this power, but even its advanced technology had limits. "Admiral Way," she called, hoping Earth's command channels still functioned. "The weapon worked, but we've done something that can't be undone. That region of space, it's permanently altered. Nothing will ever be able to exist there normally again." The Admiral's response was grim. "A price we had to pay, Doctor. The Collective's main fleet is in chaos. Their remaining ships are retreating." Maya watched as the spatial anomaly finally stabilized, leaving behind a wound in spacetime that would never heal. The region glowed with impossible energies, a permanent reminder of what humanity had been willing to do to survive. "We won," Tom said quietly, but there was no joy in his voice. "Didn't we?" Maya thought of the classified files, of the predecessors warning about power that no species should wield. They had survived, yes, but at what cost? The legacy weapon hadn't just changed space, it had changed humanity. There would be no going back to who they were before. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "The immediate threat is over, but we need to talk about what comes next, about what we've become." As Prometheus turned toward home, Maya couldn't help but wonder if the predecessors had chosen humanity because they saw their potential, or because they knew humans would be willing to cross lines that other species would not. The war was ending, but humanity's greatest challenge was just beginning.